I'm using this cutting once again as an example of trying to sand intricate pieces like this where there's a lot of brittle pieces that could easily break off. The key is to save as many of the waste areas as you cut in order to lay them back into where they were cut out of to stabilize the flimsy pieces. And I'm not sure I could find the piece that was holding that. But worst case scenario, I can just hold that with my hand when I'm sanding. You can use a palm sander or orbital sander, but I wouldn't recommend it only because they're a lot more aggressive sanding than sanding by hand. You choose what you want to do, but I'll put them into place to give you an idea. These were stack cut, and I used the lighter bottom color so you could see the contrast of where I'm putting them in, obviously. Some of the areas of the hair could be considered brittle, so that's why I saved this piece. And it's better safe than sorry, because some of these may not vibrate off, but I don't want to take any chances. I've never been real good at puzzles, so I'm hoping I can find all the spots where these go. You probably already found it, wondering why. Well, I did sort of find the piece there. I could hold it up against hair to stabilize it while I'm sanding it. Some of these I don't have a clue where they go, but I'm excuse me, continuing to look. That's probably in hand. Yes, it is. There's one. Well, it's definitely there. Okay, I think that'll do for us. I don't know where this one goes, but I'm pretty sure it's somewhere on the perimeter, and it might even be right here. So there we go. I shouldn't have cut that off. I probably should have kept it all one piece, but you get the idea. But now we can sand it, and we'll see how it'll stabilize the piece. Even though the pieces are in there, you still should hold it just to minimize shaking too much. And sometimes the pieces you save might have warped a little bit. This little piece is sticking up, so basically this is for me, I put my designs onto the wood with carbon paper, so that's what I'm sanding off, is those carbon paper lines. Most of you would likely be doing this either for a finish, or you may have it turned over backwards for fuzzies that come with using spirals, which I do. But here we go. And obviously the better you stay on the line, the less sanding you have to do. If you do the carbon paper thing like I do, I don't know that a whole lot of people do. But as I've always said, there's no law saying you have to stay on the line. If an area seems too thin for your liking, it scares the crap out of you, then make it thicker. Even though I saved a lot of these pieces, I'm not finding a whole lot of pencil lines to sand off. But I wanted to share this tip with you, obviously. So hopefully the contrast of the two different woods shows you the premise of putting this together. But I got pretty lucky. There's not really a whole lot of areas to sand. I remember when I was cutting this piece, I did my dangest to stay on the line so that I wouldn't have to worry about it wiggling, but I do see a little bit, so I'm going to go ahead and sand that off. Believe it or not, I'm going to move that one piece out of the way because I can hold this and probably stabilize it better than trying to keep it in there. And it's really just a matter of stabilizing the wiggly pieces. If you didn't think to save the waste pieces around it, just hold it with your finger while you're sanding each area, and then you'll be okay. And if you have a non-important piece, like somewhere in the clothes that breaks, nobody has to know that it was originally designed that way. You're not really deceiving the customer, just kind of a design change. So here's an example of not using the backing piece to sand. You just hold it steady and it works. For the record, I'm using a 220 grit. You can use whatever grit you're comfortable with. But 220 seems to be good enough to get the carbon paper lines off, or pencil lines, whatever you may be using. But I hope this will help y'all. Any of those that wondered how you could sand intricate pieces like this. When it comes to fuzzies, you can also use needle files. Some people will use a little torch. I'm not real comfortable with that. I don't want to take any chances on scorching the front side. That could be lack of confidence on my part, but I hope this little tip helps you, and y'all keep on scrolling.